I'm gonna end up putting it on the podcast.
Okay, so humans are animals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what makes us as animals on top of the food chain? So me, from what I like experienced and like what I saw, I was like, the only thing that differentiates us from like, and like other animals can do that too, but like it's learning. Like humans can learn and they can pass like forward their knowledge. Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. So education. So whatever happens in education, I feel like when you put a kid in school, it's not to teach him math or like anything like that. It's like to teach him how to learn. Cause me, like even I liked math, but I didn't really like math like that.
Yeah.
But what I liked is because my dad always used to tell me like, math is life. But me, I was like, does it mean school is life or like is math actually life? But when I grew up,
math is actually life.
Math is actually life.
Math is
God damn.
See, that's the problem. Actually, school, it's not even in the structure or what they teach you that's bad. People be like, oh, they didn't teach me taxes, they didn't teach me fucking personal finance and all that shit. Bro,
it's just logic.
Dude, take in. People say that, but like we love to be pessimistic. What you don't realize is, bro, think about it. Most niggas, you're going through puberty at that time. You're going through puberty means you're just starting to like bitches. You really think you're gonna give a fuck about taxes?
No chance.
When it's the shorty just walking past, like looking fine as shit over you, don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You don't give a shit, bro. So I think what happens is like, I think people think about these things, and I think they've created a system that is general enough that like for the majority, most people who go in it get whatever is required for them to keep going. But what happens is, it's kind of like your job as a human being to like realize that like you're supposed to get autonomous at a certain point in time and like make your own curriculum and find out what you do want to study and like what you do want to figure out afterwards. Like naturally, if you really care about getting better at life, you're gonna end up getting into personal finance. You're gonna end up getting into taxes because you have a job. You want to make sure you know how to manage money coming in and money going out. Exactly. But what happens is people lose. Yeah, that's what you say. People lose like the desire to learn. That's when niggas go downhill.
Exactly.
Because that's what sets us apart. It's our memory.
Yes.
Most animals are just like really now, and when it comes to memory, they remember things for survival for the most part. We've gone past that. We like memory. The function of memory is survival, but like I don't know the science behind it to be too sure, but it's also what put us at the top of the food chain is our ability to collaborate.
Yes,
it's like
yes.
You should read *Sapiens*.
Yeah, it's on my list.
It's
on my list.
That book, like that's the one that made me understand like that, because it was like you put a one human in a jungle, bro. It's not surviving against most of the shit there. Yeah. Like a little snake can kill us. Like we put us in the jungle, we're at the bottom of the food chain. You put 20 of us in the jungle, we're destroying that shit. Like, we're destroying that shit, bro. Because then we'll start to be like, okay, you're gonna be the lookout. You're gonna be this. We're gonna start like to create this like fictional hierarchy or this fictional system that only we can understand that animals can't.
Okay.
And that's why we dominate.
Okay, I understand. But do animals who, let's say monkeys, they live in communities.
Monkeys can do it.
Okay, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Monkeys, they live in communities, families. You can see they have a certain
society.
Yeah.
Type of society.
Yeah. A lot of animals have like hierarchies and like.
Yeah. That's the thing. So,
what's the difference?
The difference is that animals can't invent money.
Yeah.
That's the difference. But like monkeys, the monkeys like will keep it at like, I give you food and then you give me your food, but they don't like. See, all of it is in service of the right now. Like I need food right now.
But the thing is, we were at that point at a certain time too.
Evolution.
So that's why like I keep going back to learning. I feel like our part as humans is like to pass the knowledge to the next generation, because animals cannot do that. Like The monkeys from
Exactly.
the 90s can
We still remember,
do the
bro.
goddamn thing.
We're figuring out what was happening before we were here.
Yes.
Like that's our ability. Like
That's
we can,
crazy, yeah.
like we have the concept of a
Monkeys
big bang.
just be living. It's like they be the
Monkeys
same
are in
thing,
the,
bro.
that's the thing. Well, that's their advantage is they're in the present.
Yeah.
The thing is, what sets us apart is also our biggest curse, which
Yes.
is like our ability to come up with shit. Like we
Yes.
forget we invented money and it's a concept. Like niggas are killing each other and killing ourselves over money, which is something that completely, if you speak objectively speaking, doesn't exist.
So do you think that animals are happier than humans since they live in the present?
Animals-
They don't think about the next man, the next monkey. They don't think about, I don't know.
I have no science on this, but I feel like animals are so much more in the present that like it's not that they don't get animals. I feel like don't
don't
maybe
have
dogs or like animals that resemble or love humans. They don't experience things for like long periods of time. So it's like though they might feel emotions, but they'll feel them and then let go as soon as possible. The thing about humans is we can remember I can like someone can like break your heart and then you can remember they did forever. Like an animal like probably remembers, but they get over it because the animal has to survive.
Yeah.
This is all to go back to what you were saying about God. I think because I've like studied sort of like not very in depth, but like multiple religions, and I think everyone should do that because you find the links between them, and you start to see why science came in. Because all of it stems from philosophy. We got good at like surviving. Humans got good at surviving, and then we got to a point where we had free time. Because it's like we managed to automate the process of hunting and gathering to a point where like now like I'm not coming home at 10 p.m. and going straight to sleep because I need to wake up 5 a.m. I'm getting home at like 6 or 7 or 3. So now it's like humans have this ability of self-awareness. So we go, but why am I doing this though? And then that's like the start of it all. At some point, a human went, why? Fast forward, we're here. So what happens is we've been building philosophy, which has been building and building and building and building on top of each other. Because that's what philosophy, like if you study philosophy, what happens is you never come to a conclusion. Like a good philosophy course will never tell you a conclusion. They'll just tell you what this person came up with, and then the next like section will be this person who disagreed with this person had this to say. And then the next one, this person disagreed, and so it's like they keep building on top of each other. So religion comes in when you get to an axiom. An axiom is a point you leave here because you don't have enough knowledge to develop the point, so you leave it here to address it later.
Okay.
God was what we didn't understand. God is a word we use to describe what we can't understand. So how is it that you ejaculate in someone and then in 9 months a baby comes out? There's a point where humans had no information at all for how that happens, but they know it does. So the thing, the force, the reason, the thing that's causing it to happen, since we didn't know what it was, called it God.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I know that theory.
And then now apply this to the entire world. So God, Buddha, fucking...
That's why his ego comes from repent.
Yeah, that's why God is the creator of everything, the all-knowing. What I don't know, God knows, because God's making it happen, right? So what happened at a certain point is when it gets political, niggas start fighting over it, and niggas get like stuck to the axiom. So we get caught to the most recent understanding. What happens with religions is people get stuck on the most recent understanding, and then as things naturally, like it's a thing we do with change. Like most people, like social media come in, like and becoming popular. The people who were there before social media came are the ones who are most opposed against it because they watched the change happen and they were used to a world without it. And it's the same thing, but it's just evolution happening. Yeah. Shit changes naturally all the time. So I think as a solution, because we always we keep trying to build on shit, science became the thing because science was like, now we can build the tools to back up what we say. So it's like you tell me meditation makes me calmer, it's not enough. show me. Now you can get the brain scans and niggas are proving it. So now it's like we have proof.
Yeah.
Like we're inquiring into God. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we can look at the fucking atoms in this now. Like the little particles just interacting with each other to form this wallet. We can know what happens like when as we're breathing, we know now what we're like what's coming in when we're breathing, what's coming out. All we knew like thousands of years ago was that kept us alive. We were like, God. That's God. God's allowing me to take a breath in and out right now. The thing I don't understand that's happening inside my body or outside in the world that's providing me with this oxygen, when you didn't even know what oxygen was, you just called it God. But now you know what it's called. You don't need to use that word as much. But you can still use it because there's still a lot we don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So you could just be like, whatever we don't know, let's just call it God.
Okay, so that's why.
So God still applies.
Okay, so that's why people. Now, do you think people like they know, like maybe some people don't know they don't know that, but some people know that, but they don't want to.
Like
let's say Laura.
They don't want to.
She's scientific.
No.
She's a scientist. She.
No,
she's,
Salas, like this whole theory, she knows. Like we already talked about it. Okay, so
yeah,
like,
so that's what I was saying. So God is now isn't just to like explain what is air or da da da. It's just
Some people see it as a real person.
yeah,
Like a real being,
exactly. It's
entity.
just something for them to love, like you said.
Yeah.
They just want like you say most niggas are alone now.
Yeah.
So since they're alone,
They need something.
They need something
God.
to. And that's why love you said is
Okay.
They need love. So God give them love.
But like
God gives hope. Also.
But the thing I don't like about people who are against religion is that they just go like God doesn't exist, get over God, blah 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 blah. Like they make fun of people who say God, but like, bro, you step out. I think what happens is like you just really all you need to do is just find the link between shit, and then you'll see that it's all the same thing, just being said in a different way.
Exactly.
Bro, you step out and you get in a car. The risk you're taking. We're fucking 7 stories high right now.
Yes. Even the shower room. God
This
damn.
thing, bro, like if you really pay attention, there are so many ways you could die at any moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's stopping that from happening? You don't know. God. So when you say thank you, God, for letting me for when I stepped out I went to work today and came back. This is like if you really think about it, you're acknowledging all of the ways you going outside could have went wrong and it didn't, and you're expressing gratitude for that to the world. So you can replace God with just like the universe.
Yeah.
So you just acknowledge that there's something, you're a piece of something bigger.
So how things work then?
Huh?
How do things work?
I don't know.
See,
But so you think that after taking shrooms that you realize, let's say Loa is really religious and everything like that. So then she takes the shrooms, like the real dose. Her ego dies. So now she's, like you said, a part of the universe. So now,
Like you're God at that point.
yeah.
That's exactly what you feel like.
So now, do you think that she would like?
still be into religion?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because even more to be honest. Because
Religion is philosophy.
me, quand j'ai pris des shrooms,
Oh.
Eric Dose, at the end of my trip, I cried and I said, I went with like a statement. I was okay. The answer is love. God is love, so the answer is God. That's like the statement I came up with. Okay, and I talked to avec Laura, so with my sister, and I heard like even the thing you said with like the gaps filled. So like it's called like the theory the name of the theory from what I heard is called the mystical gap. So it's like a circle. So humans just know some parts of the circle, but there's some gaps they don't know.
That's the mystical.
And the mystical gaps are gonna fill that out, either God or whatever time,
Until we figure it out.
until we figure it out.
That's why they say que genre sinon les scientifiques défient Dieu en fait. Genre,
Exactement.
Dieu à chaque
Parce
fois.
qu'ils enlèvent chaque partie and to actually
Yeah, they're removing the mystical.
Yeah.
They're
So
removing
people
mystical.
who have been using the mystical to fill in that gap have gotten used to it. So when people start to like come up with proof to evolve it or like yeah, or like evolve the understanding, a lot of people will just reject it and choose to stick with the mystical. But I think everything mystical, like humans have done, like from voodoo to all that shit, all of it has science in it. It's just that at the time of its invention, we didn't have the scientific tools to prove it. The whole point of science is to inquire into the truth. And the truth is what every scripture is concerned with.
But okay, the problem is with science and the niggas that really believe in science and don't necessarily agree with like the whole like God and everything, is that you think so. If you go back to the circle, we're never gonna fill in all the gaps of the circle. Like this is never gonna happen.
Because the universe is expanding at all times and way faster than we could ever comprehend.
We're never gonna find it. So what my sister told me is that for them, believing in God is acknowledging the gaps. But science is like, not, I wouldn't say based on ego, but like people in science that have ego will say, with science, yes, there are gaps, we're gonna fill them all at some point.
They just deny the gaps at all.
The gaps.
And they deny like the mystical completely. So they're like, because the thing that happens is the mystical, you can get comfortable in that, and like, so I guess as a scientist, they're like, this is just something for me to figure out with science. So they just refuse the mystical like definition completely at all. But yeah, science is just the most recent religion.
Yeah.
It's just the most recent and like the best one in the sense of like, bro, you study. I think everyone should study physics.
Yes.
I haven't like I took a physics class in high school, but I was too busy chasing bitches to really like pay attention and really get the point. And that's the thing they don't tell you in school too. They never tell you why. A good teacher will tell you why.
Yes. Yeah. Like, that's why I went.
My math teacher in grade 11 told me why, and it was my favorite class because every time I asked why are we learning this, he would say yeah. When that nigga taught me compound interest, I didn't really get it. He told me why, and he explained it with like cars and investing. But it's like you're in an age where you're not even in that world yet, so you don't really get it. But when I heard compound interest for the first time as an adult, I had a basic enough understanding from him having told me that and saying why, and being like, you'll find out, but like just know you need. Math is like the language of the universe.
Yes.
Because it's like,
physics is crazy.
How do I know this is one? Math. How do I know this is one wallet and not two wallets? Math.
Yes.
Like, so the thing is, you start with math and then you build to physics. The thing about physics that's sick is I can know exactly how this sound is traveling with enough physics knowledge. I know exactly what this sound is like. I can, to a point where you can basically see it if you really study the physics of sound. If I study the physics of this material here, like, so basically you enhance how you see the world. You don't just see a flower anymore. You see a whole set of processes happening.
Yes.
So, but the thing is, physics is so like complex because it's dealing with the like, bro, like it's what you can't see. It's like it's so complex and it's so advanced at this point that like you need to really pace yourself, and you need to like find out how you learn first before you go into something as complicated as physics, in my opinion.
Yes.
Because then you can really engage with it. Yeah. But yeah, psychedelics. Yeah, that's what psychedelics do. They just help you remember that like you're not the universe doesn't revolve around you.
You're not it.
You're not it.
You're not it. Exactly.
Les gens restent dans la religion, c'est qu'on ne saura jamais ce qu'il y avait au tout début, man. Genre, que ce soit, like, d'essayer qu'il y avait le Big Bang et tout, mais c'est vague en fait.
Il y a pas de preuve.
C'est vague, man.
Il y a pas de preuve.
Jamais ce qu'il y avait au début, man.
Je pense qu'on était pas là.
Moi, ce que je trouve vraiment fascinant, c'est qu'en fait, bah, tu sais quoi, en fait, c'est comme si tu n'es rien en fait. Man. Tu n'es rien du tout, man.
T'es rien.
But do you think that at some point
Comment tout est venu comme ça?
we will find the answer?
Here's the thing. The answer is that there's no answer. T'es rien. T'es rien. Mais le fait que t'es rien, c'est parce que t'es tout.
Yeah, right.
Tu peux pas être rien sans tout.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. The reason why I'm nothing is because I'm a piece of this big thing. But I'm still a piece. The universe needs you to exist. That's why you exist. So as much as like you mean nothing, you also mean something, because me interacting with you is the universe expanding.
Yes.
Like
this is something creating. Like,
it's
right
create,
now?
bro. I'm giving. What do you expel? Carbon dioxide. I'm taking that out, and there's something in the world that needs that to survive.
Okay, maybe not that deep, but me, I was gonna say like, you know, like how the determinist, le mouvement determinist, where it's like everything that happens is gonna have a consequence.
Yeah.
So like us talking right now is somehow gonna have a
It
consequence.
causes something.
Causes something.
The music we're listening
exactly. Like I could have done something else today, but I decided to like, so something might happen in my house.
and that's gonna impact the entire universe.
Entire universe.
All of it. So that's the balance.
Exactly.
The balance is not trying to like is trying to figure shit out, but understanding that you're never gonna figure it out.
Okay.
So you go for perfection, but acknowledge that you'll never reach it.
Okay.
But in this way, you keep getting closer.
So do you think that there are other dimensions?
See
Like-
that? I feel like there's science with that.
Really?
Like
Yeah.
right now, another dimension. Like we're not even in this room.
See, me, I feel like, why not? Because it's like,
Like we don't even know each other. Like, do you think that, or maybe not that complex, but maybe another, like I don't know.
Because
On n'est pas des seuls.
no, man, I think
sure.
that's only because we're humans that we're saying that. Because I don't think a chicken will be like, yo, is there other niggas here? That nigga's just
but
like,
here's the thing, you don't know.
yeah,
you
you don't know. That's what I'm saying.
You
It's
don't
like,
know.
it'll be cool if there
It would-
is.
yeah, it would.
But at the
It would.
same time, we're humans and we made movies. Like we can imagine anything. That's why like when like I don't like getting into arguments like gods and anything, cause like
Yeah.
bro, first we don't really know anything, and at the same time humans been, cause other superpower of humans, in my opinion, that makes us tell food chain is telling stories. Humans just keep telling stories.
Yeah, they tell
the whole
stories.
point of
Yeah.
human is telling stories.
Like Greek myths is like the peak of that.
Yeah.
Even achieving goals. Like when you achieve a goal, even if you don't tell a story, you have a story.
Yeah.
Like in your head, you have memories, and that's your story.
Yeah.
But that's what ego is. Ego is
Yeah.
your story that you're like
It just
writing about
builds up.
yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when your ego dies, man, you don't even think about these things. You just live in the present now. Like let's say you achieve something.
Yeah.
It's just like okay,
Yeah.
I did it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Something else.
But here's the thing.
You
The
just
thing
need
the
to
thing
look.
about tripping is since you have no ego, you also have no desires. So there's no the thing is like when you're tripping, whether or not you cross the street makes no difference to you because you're chilling. No matter where you are, like if you're like having a good trip, like bro, like you'll sit on the floor anywhere. Like you'll like and you don't have a desire to like grind for anything because like you understand that you are everything and like you know what I mean. So you go to the extreme of like everything's okay. So like there's nothing to fix. Like everything's perfect.
Yes.
Everything is perfect.
Okay, yeah.
But everything is also evolving, and this thing that's like this power. That's the thing. There's a certain force that compels you to evolve. That force that we don't understand. That force that makes plants grow. That force that like makes that baby come to life. That force that makes you wanna like get so good at making beats that you push the boundaries of it forward. Like what compels someone like Kanye to like constantly put his whole fucking mental well-being on the line just to create art that like moves things forward? What is that?
Okay.
What is that force?
The thing.
God.
God? You
Because
think?
it's the don't know.
Okay, what if?
God is not I know what the force is. God is I don't know.
What if it's your brain?
Your brain, it could be. That's the thing.
Yes.
See, the don't know, it's like anything you say, the answer is it could be.
Because, okay,
You don't know.
that's true. We don't know. But you know how you said the force? There's this philosopher, like old philosopher called Schopenhauer.
Oh yeah, I heard.
Okay,
Yeah.
and Schopenhauer, so his whole theory is that humans and any being actually has a will. Will not as in like the will like
Yeah.
as humans see it, but like will like as a force, like you said.
Yeah.
That just pushes the being to chase something. You just
Yeah.
chase the will.
And some people have more and less.
More and less.
C'est le
Yeah.
désir.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but like you
C'est
just
pas le désir,
non, c'est pas le désir. though.
c'est la force qui
te permet de grind.
t'encourage
It's like
pour satisfaire le
like to chase
désir.
on by.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have a lot of things they want in life, but they don't have the will to make it happen.
Uh-huh.
But you have, bro. the amount of will you need to have to like be someone like Steve Jobs or something, because and someone like Elon, like these people need a lot of will, because they're dealing with like forefront of like what's possible. It's like to be able to make a rocket land and then be able to go back again and be reused takes a lot of effort, and you need a strong will to be able to even keep going and trying to make that happen.
See, the thing is, Schopenhauer, and that's what you said with psychedelics, is like him, the way he sees it is that if you have the will, you're a prisoner of the will. Because as a being and as a human, you're always gonna chase that will. So you're not free. You're always gonna chase something. You're always gonna, because if you don't chase anything, you'll have that feeling of despair, and you'll have Because humans are like, if you look at the world, like it's shit. Like humans are deep in suffering. Yeah. And that will is what makes us like
want to make it better.
Want to make it better. Yeah. Like we chase it.
Yeah.
So his whole philosophy was, I'm gonna shut up that will so I can be free. But the thing is, what's funny is that by trying to shut up that will, you're also chasing something.
That's your will.
That's your will.
Yeah, you need will to try to shut it off.
Exactly.
That's the thing about like spirituality, is like when
because spirituality is the same thing. Like psychedelics, that's why I was going to, like, it's supposed to like not completely shut off the will, but make you low enough just so like you're able, yes, to chase it, but at the same time to be mindful of the present.
It's Taoism. Taoism is like one of those philosophies that like said it very well, because they didn't have any God, because they called it the Tao. The Tao was like the first line in it. It's like this very short text. The first line in it is the Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao, which is if you try to put a name on it, it's not it, because the it that we keep trying to name is beyond our comprehension, because it's beyond. It's like it comes before us. You know what I mean? Like it's above us, and that's why we call it God, and that's why we see God as this dude, this being like outside of Earth, looking down on it, and like choosing how things decide to happen. That's our name for that force that drive us there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah,
that's why. I agree though, but the thing is, I'm like, okay, so what's the point then?
There's no point. We're just existing.
Are you supposed?
That's the thing. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not going anywhere. We're just existing. Like, you're gonna exist, you're gonna die, and then that's it. But here's the thing, like when you die, you just go back into the thing you were in before you were born.
Okay, now what if the goal is legacy?
That's you. That's you who decide that.
That's my will, though.
That's your will. That's ego. That's you trying to get immortality because you don't like the fact that you're gonna stop existing.
But is it really that, or is it just because humans, like I said?
But it helps us. It helps us because legacy is like. Because legacy is like Beethoven. Yeah. You know, like Beethoven left a legacy to the point where it's been so many years he's been dead. Mm-hmm. But I say his name and all three of you know who the fuck he is. Yeah. We've never met him. We're very far from being able to meet him, but we know he exists. But that's the thing. That's art. That's like art. Yeah. Is like probably one of the most, in my opinion, one of the most important things in the sense of like evolution. Because I could send you a link for this video. It's from this YouTube. You've probably seen a video from it. I don't even know how to spell the name, but they were talking about this cave. These people were hiking and then they came across this cave and they went in the cave and they saw a bunch of like paintings, fingerprints and shit. And then they blocked it out because it was their first time finding it. So it was a cave that had been there for millions of years and no one knew it was there because maybe like the life around it hid it. So they started preserving it and then they contacted people. They're like, yo, I think we just discovered some shit. And then they found out through studying it that it was like cavemen that did those paintings in those caves and like put their fingerprints. But the point the video made was that our ancestors were dealing with like death way more than we deal with death. Like, who could be like they had to go out hunt and gather and risk dying like every day. They still made the time
to do art,
to make art, which is basically what that was. It's like art documents like very well. because art gives you the options not only document like objective things like this is a lamp, but like this is how I see the lamp. That's what art allows you to do.
Seeing the box.
It's basically you put your ego out for people to consume and make sense of, and in turn they might be able to reflect because they might catch something about your ego that's the same as theirs, and then in turn be able to relate and like figure out how to deal with it better. Like there's good when art is good, it usually makes you better. Like usually, because you see, I don't know, like you listen to My Beautiful Dark Twisted, bro. You listen to any Kanye album as a producer, as a musician, you're like, oh fuck, I need to get better at this because this nigga is ridiculously good. So like, but the art itself also talks about real art, talks about real shit.
Yes.
In the sense of like, but not even only that, cause like, I don't know, it's just. Cause trap shit, like there's good art in that. Like there's always shit that's just moving things. I feel like art cause art you can comment on political things. Like To Pimp a Butterfly probably helped the United States politically as an album.
I agree.
So that's what like when an artist gets really good, that's like your duty as an artist to like figure out how you can help things move forward through those things. But some people see it as just like I'm just making music, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Like niggas just see it, especially these days since everyone can do it. Like people are just like, oh, you make music, it's nothing special. Like we forget there's like it's a magical thing.
It is.
Like people find love through that.
Yeah.
And that's
So-
the thing. And that's the thing. That's
That's
how I
what
got
gives
into
meaning.
music, and that's why I take so much time finishing a song, because what I'm looking for is a feeling.
Yes.
Every time I sit outside and I feel my headphone and I can play a song 15 times
Definitely.
because I have this same feeling state.
Exactly.
I want to that's what I chase
Yeah.
when I'm in music.
Feeling, yeah.
I chase the feeling, you know, and I want other people to have the same feeling.
And that's where that's why you choose to get better. That's literally the point of getting better. The point of getting better is so you understand the tools at your disposition enough. Because the longer you do it, the more you understand it. So like I know what, I don't know, compression does. From years of trying to understand compression, my understanding of compression now is way better than it was like a few years ago. So now if I come across a sound and I want to shape it to sound a certain way, let's say there's too much dynamic range, like let's say I recorded vocals and sometimes I'm way too quiet, sometimes I'm way too loud. The fact that I've spent this much time using compression helps me understand that a compressor is what I use to bring everything together.
Okay.
So all you're doing, that's why like the most important part in being an artist is to just make art. It's to just do the thing you do all the time, but do it with the intention of constantly learning more. Because what happens is you can get comfortable with what you know too, and just stop. That's the thing as just a human being in general. Most humans fall off once they just stop learning.
Stop learning. Yes.
You get comfortable. What you know allows you to have a job. It allows you to have a decent place. It allows you to eat. It allows you to live. And you're comfortable with that, so you stick with it.
And that's why
enemy.
I think it was a couple days ago, I saw something on Instagram. I think it was an interview. I think it was the Tyler interview. I don't remember. But people, like society, has put in your head a time frame
For everything.
Yes.
for everything.
Yes. Yes.
At this,
For everything.
at 30, you're supposed to have this.
This.
At 40,
And see, that's the same
Even age is a
that's-
fucking concept.
That's the same thing with
No
religion.
cap.
yeah.
It's all like the people found something that worked for them, or that
And
worked
they
for a large
generalize
amount of
it.
people, and they generalize it and decide this is how everyone should be.
yeah.
But is it necessary though? I think it is.
It is to a certain extent, because some people like
Need
don't have the
guidance.
ability to
Yes.
even like think for themselves in this way. Like
So
some people just don't have the
They need a
circumstances.
plan.
So to some people, yeah, but I think
Definitely.
ideally you want to get to a point when you can like separate your like you learn the rules, but you're supposed to understand that like nothing's conclusive.
Yes. Yes.
Nothing's conclusive. So when you finish learning the rules, you gotta understand that that's not all there is to it.
Yeah.
Once you know and understand the rules, that's why like niggas say like, I don't know if you've heard that, but like, well, there's this theory like 10,000 hours is how long it takes, like of deliberate practice, how long it takes to practice.
Yeah.
On top of that, 10,000 hours, after the 10,000 hours, that's when it starts.
Yeah.
That's when you actually start to like make shit. Because that's when 10,000 hours when you have enough of an understanding to be able to do exactly what's going on in your brain. Until you get to that point, you're sort of kind of just trying and guessing and making
learning. Yes.
Which is why the most important thing is to clock in those 10,000 hours.
Yes.
Because if you have the intention of getting better and you practice deliberately in a sense of like you practice actively, you give it your full attention, your full like effort when you do practice, naturally speaking, your brain's gonna just start making connections somehow.
Yeah.
Like putting out music from how long ago? From like 2013, which was like secretly, and just putting it on the internet and like just trying to find out like just making YouTube videos and doing all that shit. My understanding of YouTube and how it works, my understanding of music and how it works, my understanding of FL from 2012 to 2014, my understanding of Ableton from 2017 to now, like my understanding of how to release a song, how to release albums, all of that's from the fact that I've been doing it for that long.
Yes.
Just from doing it, your brain picks up information, remembers it, embodies it, and the next time you naturally just know better how to do it.
You have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
You just have to keep doing it. And that's where the will part comes in. Some niggas just give up.
Yeah.
Some niggas give up on learning and keep doing it, and then some other niggas just give up on doing it in general. Because like you can get comfortable, like it's like one-hit wonders. It's like you make a song that works and you just keep making that same song. The reason why Kanye stayed for so long is because like you have eras to the point where you can even like
give an outfit.
From an outfit you can tell what album he was putting out.
Yeah.
You're supposed to constantly like shed your skin and like and sort of like question yourself and rebel against your current self. So I don't know everything.
Yeah.
And as long as you understand that and embody that mindset, I don't know anything, then you're constantly learning because you're trying to know.
Souvent les gens savent, tu sais même pas que tu ne sais pas en fait.
Tu sais même pas ce que tu sais pas. That's the thing. But the thing is with learning is you just gotta remember to not get comfortable. Like I'm actually just now realizing this. Like, cause with reading and like reading self-help and reading nonfiction, a lot of people will just read whatever people recommend to them. But I think you should read based on what's in front of you.
Yeah.
What's in your environment. So, let's say you just get a car, you read about the car. Read about owning a car. That's like what you need to learn about is always like in front of you based on how you're living. So So it's like I'm making this album. Let's say I'm making an album. I'm using Ableton. I need to have that manual ready. So when I come across something in Ableton that I don't understand fully, let's say I want to use like the EQ, and there's this EQ. You go in the manual, the EQ tells you exactly what everything in that thing does. That's what you need to be reading at the time. I'm getting a new car. Read about owning a car. Read about the manufacturer of your car. Wikipedia is great for that because Wikipedia gives you a curated summary by many people who came together to work on this thing and give you all the information you need to know about this thing. So from its history to the people who designed, let's say it's a car, people who designed it, why they designed this, what's the difference between the previous model, all that shit. Like just understanding what psychedelics do. They don't solve your problems. They help you understand the problems.
Yes.
But you can't solve a problem without understanding it.
And you need to choose to solve the problem as well.
That's the thing. So it tells you, it helps you understand the problem. But then when you're done tripping, it's still up to you to solve it. Yeah. But now if you go to solve it, you have an understanding of it. But it's to use like an analogy in math, like if you see ax plus bx equals x, if you don't know this is algebra, and you don't understand what A means and B means, what X means, and all that shit, you can't solve that fucking problem.
Yeah.
But if you understand what that problem is, it's algebra, you know what A is supposed to mean, you know what X is supposed to mean, then solving it is just a matter of just putting in the work and like doing the formulas and putting B on the other side and like figuring out what B might be, and then you solve B. You put out the formula. For the formula is your understanding of it. You know that formula solves this problem. So as soon as if you apply this to all of life, then all you see in life is just a bunch of problems you may or may not understand.
Yes.
So if I need to drive a boat, I don't know or I want to buy a boat, but I've never owned a boat before. It means I don't understand what it's like to even get a boat. Or even that, the new problem is getting a boat. I need to understand that problem. Is it a money problem? Is it a place problem? What's stopping me from being able to get this boat? So as soon as you understand it, then solving it is light work. But people try to solve it without understanding it. That's where the problem comes.
And me, I think the problem comes from people talking trash about math. Because that's all math. But
math? Bro, math.
Through school, like that's what they say. Like they give you a problem